cambian justo antes de llegar a conocerlos. Dale al plan, si tanto te pesa el castigo es duro y la maleta regresa al futuro por esa venganza de inmaduro y promesa de Judas, no jodas ya, esa mi culo que huele esa farsa, que esa careta de andar por casa no cuela, jodido falso que pasa, te pesa pasado y te pilla por sorpresa, so payaso, todos recogemos nuestros frutos, algunos sudan sangre, otros solo suman puntos, hijos de puta, sí, hijos de puta, hijos de puta, hijos de puta, si hace falta te pondré a raya como la farlopa.
Hey, what's up everyone? Thank you for tuning in. Today it is my pleasure to speak to a legend, a Spanish legend, European legend. It's Bboy Extremo from Zaragoza, Spain. How are you doing today?
I'm kind of okay, a little bit sick, but thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. I know everyone that watches it is going to appreciate it. And like I mentioned to you before, the whole idea of this is just to kind of get your story. I have my notes here, but you know, it's better to hear it from you. So you're someone that's been around a long time, someone that our crew respects a lot. You've done a lot in the breaking scene. And so we just kind of like to hear it from you about your thoughts on B-Boy and how you came up, how things have changed. So I guess we'll just kind of start at the beginning. So you're from Zaragoza, which is a city in the northeast of Spain, no?
That's it. You've done your research. Yeah, it's between Madrid and Barcelona. And that has been very good for me, the situation of the city.
Okay.
Zaragoza. Very proud to be from here.
Big up Zaragoza. And so you've been breaking since what, 97, 98?
Yeah, 97 probably. But my beginnings were kind of different, I think, from anybody else, because I started alone. I didn't know about breaking in my city.
Okay.
And yeah. So yeah, basically my beginning, I used to love dancing. Like, I don't know, Michael Jackson, James Brown. I used to do those kind of steps at home. And also I love like martial arts also, these kind of things. And the first time I saw breaking live, it was a crew doing a show. I guess it was in a discotheque one time. And I thought it was really, really cool. And I wanted to try that because it had everything that I loved, you know, like dancing with the kind of music that I like, and also doing acrobatics, and really, really cool. So I started there. The way I started was just researching for videos, for music videos on TV, and the flashes that they had from breaking. I tried to record and then try to imitate the movement. So at home. And that was like 6 months that I was practicing alone.
Just at home on your own?
At home. I didn't know anybody. I tried to get my friends to dance, but it was tough, you know, no technique, trying to do moves crazy. I had some recordings of me of that time. Maybe someday I will upload them because I think they are very funny. I even created moves out of nothing. Like 1990, I created it. And then, of course, I saw it was already been done.
Oh, so you thought you had created a new move.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I was.
But wow, that goes to show, though, that I mean, that is a sign of things to come, that like a lot of people in their first few months of breaking wouldn't even necessarily have the idea of that.
Yeah, I used to do handstand, and because I got into it too strong, I think I used to I spin a little bit, you know, like half around, and I was like, yeah, this is cool.
My move.
My move.
Cool.
And yeah,
okay.
I used to dance with all kind of R&B music, you know, from all the music videos from the MTV.
Right.
And yeah, then I really discovered how breaking really was in Spain, in my city. But it was after I discovered some b-boys were dancing in my town on the street. There were like two crews, rival crews, and I met one of the crews, Zaragoza Electro Breakers.
Man, I have that here. I love that name so much. It's such
You
an
like
old
it?
school name.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
How long had they been active or break it? Because that the name of that crew to me sounds very 80s.
Yeah, but I don't think they were from the 80s. I think it was 90s.
Okay.
90s crew. Yeah, but the name is is really good. However, they lead breaking their own way, and it was kind of tough to get into. Not even the crew, but just to practice with them and share with them. At the beginning, it was not easy, for me. I remember, going to that place at night and just sitting in a corner, watching them do the moves. They even laugh at me being there. And I understand. I was an outsider, Right. It was kind of very different from nowadays. But when they saw me going there every day, like consistently, I think they started respecting me and they started sharing with me, talking to me, and then you know how it is, like hip hop.
You had to earn their respect a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Were they older or the same age or?
Yeah, same age, older. Some of them were a little bit older, but like only 1, 2, 3 years older. Not so much.
Was that like, and did that feel like a kind of a negative thing at the time, or do you look back on it and think that actually was a good kind of way, or what do you think about that looking back on it?
Looking back, I really like that I started this way, and with these people, amazing people, really. Even if it was tough, I think it made me even wanting it more, like really appreciating everything that was happening. And, today, I think we live in an era of everything easy, everything fast, tutorials, everybody can access any kind of information every time. And at that time, everything was very valuable, And I think it made me stronger, probably, I would say. And yeah, and of course, these people seem dangerous at first and like really closed. I don't know how to express it. Really,
yes,
but
closed, not particularly approachable, you might say. Yeah. I guess they weren't very approachable, right?
But then when you started knowing more about them, they were great people and great dancers too.
And it might be also because they're used to people coming and then just going.
Probably. I don't think many people would really stick with them
right
on the street there. But yeah, because it was not like very friendly music and they were like, smiling, clap your hands, right. Everybody. No, it was like very serious, and maybe they did a move, then they came back, they were, I don't know, like smoking, talking. No, nothing really attractive.
Right.
Well, the movements were attractive, like breaking is really spectacular to watch.
I think there's something beneficial about it being like, going through those kind of tests early on.
Yeah, probably. You're right. I think people who really go through that kind of experience and stay is because they really love. They have passion for the culture and the dance.
Exactly.
Because as soon as I started with them, then I really started discovering everything about breaking, the scene, and hip hop, the culture. Because at that time I really loved the hip hop, but from my knowledge that was very stupid, you could say. I didn't know anything. Of course, I loved rapping. I started even rapping myself,
Like, oh man, is there any old Extremo recordings out there?
Only in cassette,
Oh, so they may or may not work in 2022.
No.
Those cassettes.
No. I don't want anybody to hear that. But I love everything about hip hop, really.
So
And when
they
I
gave
started,
you. Oh, sorry. Continue. Sorry.
no. It's just at that time, I think even not only in Zaragoza, but in the rest of Spain, where a crew come together, they were more than only b-boys or b-girls. I think they were uh, graffiti artists,
Mm-hmm.
MCs, DJs, all together, just sharing experiences, spending all day together,
Mm-hmm.
then going to festivals together, traveling, these kind of things. And there were not, well, there were like only 1 or 2 events a year of breaking, but there were a lot of festivals like hip hop. So we live everything more like I think it should be.
It's like even though there were less events, you were living it.
Yeah,
still a lot.
Totally.
Living the culture,
And,
living the life, like the lifestyle.
Well, the lifestyle, of course, we were not from the Bronx, and we didn't live it like this. But living the culture, I would say yes, because we got our radio cassette, to the streets. We were dancing, and somebody was rapping, and maybe a friend of us was doing graffiti at the same time, and we were dancing on the street. So it kind of felt authentic, even though from the outside it should be it should look stupid.
No, I think it's a beautiful thing, and it's hard. I guess a lot of younger people coming into that now, it's hard for them to experience that.
You're right.
To experience it in that way, the culture, no?
Yeah, and you're right. And I think I don't know if you understand the music festivals. I mean, the hip hop festivals. They used to have everything,
Right.
Like there were graffiti artists everywhere, a lot of rap artists, and also you could find b-boys in ciphers, the DJs doing scratching and even competitions, So I think you lived every element of hip hop,
You were around
and
all the elements, probably.
Yeah, you were surrounded by.
Now the elements are a bit
time.
more separated, probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Maybe not in every country, because I see how they live it in, I don't know, Russia, for example.
Yeah.
They really are authentic and live it that way. More true to the essence, I think. But yeah, in Spain, it got a little bit separated, more than I would like to.
Yeah.
I think.
I would say a little bit. In Ireland, we're trying to, that's the whole kind of idea of our organization, Fifth Element, is to bring the different elements together and have more collaboration, because it's kind of to everyone's benefit, and the people that understand the culture know that that's kind of how it should be anyway.
Yeah, totally.
But it's hard.
Right. It's hard. But I think, of course, there's always been organizers and people who wanted to do it that way, especially in breaking. They try to do a big event with every element included. But I think it's not the same that they have been doing in the other elements. I mean, like rap concert, for example. They don't try to include graffiti or b-boys, b-girls.
Because they feel like they don't need it. Maybe
they don't need it, or maybe sometimes even they think they steal the show, a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, it's just.
There's been a couple of times that the MC has told us by the microphone, like, "Yo, the show is right here. Like, stop dancing," Yeah.
Damn. And was that Spanish MCs or American or?
Yeah, well, I don't really remember, but I think it was Spanish.
Damn. Wow. Okay.
But then you got XVII coming to our city, to Zaragoza, and XVII told where the b-boys and the b-girls at, come to the stage.
Yeah, well,
that's the difference.
He used to have like b-boys and shit on tour with him. I think he had like Alien Ness and shit on tour with him and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and he really He's a great messenger for hip hop. And also DJ Cool Herc came to Zaragoza to
Really?
a big hip hop festival, and we were really lucky and proud to go to the stage and dance with him at the one choose.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was a great experience, really, because there were some American b-boys that came to the festival too, and we were like sharing and going off with the DJ Cool Herc music.
Cool. Damn. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's
great experience.
Yeah, man, definitely. So, I mean, I should have shouted out your crews at the start. That's what I usually do in these interviews, but I guess I just didn't. But like, so obviously, it sounds like the Zaragoza Electro Breakers kind of took you under their wing, and then I mean, eventually you ended like what most people would know you for is being part of Addictos Crew. So can you kind of talk about that transition between those days and then, becoming part of Addictos?
Yeah. It's as you said, Zaragoza Electro Breakers took me under the wing because there were not so many events. I could only join one event with them, like being in the crew. So it didn't feel as when you are in a crew right now, you are like doing everything with them, like competing and the name of the crew is everywhere. But really I was sharing my life with them. So I was with the crew. And the transition was, I remember the first time I went out of Zaragoza to watch an event, a breaking event. It was a Lunatic Jam in 99, it was. And it was a great experience for me. I could really see how the breaking scene was in Spain at that time, and my friends were telling me about who was who, and the first time I saw Addictos, they were called Barcelona Addictos because everybody from the crew was from Barcelona,
right?
And and that was the first time I saw them, and you could already feel something different about them. Even the way they dressed, their hair was dyed in
you
colors.
Said, right, that they like
tattoos
showed up with
and everything,
specific outfits, and their hair matching their outfits, or something like that.
Maybe not matching, but they were different.
Right.
You could see they were in a different mindset and a different level from the rest of Spain, mostly. Of course, there were a lot of very good b-boys and b-girls in Madrid and in Valencia, especially at that time. And when I got to watch everybody dance, my mind exploded there. I got really motivated, and when I got back from that, I think I pushed even harder with my level, like practicing to maybe someday get into an event like that and dance against them, and do my best, And then the next event there was an event in Zaragoza also that everybody, because when there was a competition, everybody came from everywhere,
right?
Because there were so few,
right?
Everybody wanted to be there,
right?
And there was one competition that we organized, not me but some friends of mine, that everybody came to, and it was a one-on-one competition that was really strange for the time to have a one-on-one competition, and it was the first time I joined a national competition. And Addictos was competing there with many members and many great b-boys from all over Spain. I lost first round, but that's not important. I was very nervous, and it was a great experience for me. Also the ciphers, I had everything recorded. Wow. Great motivation for me. And then I practiced like crazy, like 24 hours. I was really living breaking my own way, like Extremo. My name comes from that, the obsession, the passion, and I think I got good level fast. I think comparing it to the rest of Spanish b-boys, I think it got I got strong fast. And in 2000, there was the Battle of the Year Spain. It was the first time that Battle of the Year was organized in Spain, in Barcelona too. And I remember before the showcases, there were some ciphers, and in one of the ciphers, I saw a b-boy that I really like. That I really love how he danced. You know, he was doing some really cool freezes, the way he moved. His name was Kadoer, and he just got into Addictos Crew.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know at the time, I didn't know him, but I really love his style, and I thought like, I want to battle him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe different from nowadays, but
and you battled him, right?
Yeah, I battled him in the cipher. Everybody came, everybody was like cheering. They recorded it. They even put in some of the battle in the official Battle of the Year video.
Oh, damn. So that footage is available.
That footage is available. And also the first breaking magazine there was in Spain, they talk about that battle in the magazine. You know,
that
like
is cool,
Extremo, Cador. So it kind of was a turning point for me. And yeah, they thought I was French, a French b-boy, because I had a French cap like this.
Right.
I dressed differently, and my moves were kind of different from everybody, you know. And yeah, that was great. And I think it was at that time that I gained the respect of Barcelona Addictos, because some days after, I don't remember if it was days or weeks, but they called me. They got my phone. They called me and said, "Can you come to Barcelona to practice with us?" And that was the beginning of me in the crew.
So you were sort of officially in the crew after that battle?
And not yet, because they hadn't contacted me, but they got my number, and after they asked me to come to Barcelona to film me how was I and everything, and then they told me like I was in the crew. I remember my first.
No, sorry. Continue. Sorry.
No, sorry. My first battle with them officially was in 2001, but I think in the end of 2000 I was already with them.
So I feel like that's super interesting, because you obviously kind of called him out, but you called him out in like the right way. Because I feel like sometimes we've lost. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people get called out of battles in like the wrong way, and it's not like, for you it was like respect, and you think, oh, I like how this guy breaks, and I want to.
Yeah, totally.
But
I
you
didn't
know what I mean.
him,
but a lot of young people, I think, feel like sometimes when they call someone out, it's not necessarily. I don't know. It can get a bit messy, where it doesn't always seem like it's coming from it. Sometimes, like, some b-boys, they just go to an event, and I feel like it can be hard for them to they're just getting called out by everyone. Just
yeah,
because
you're right.
they're like a known b-boy,
Yeah, and back in the days, I think it was like this in many events in Spain too. If somebody came, like Benji came as a judge, then everybody wanted to battle him, every cipher. So it got to a point where it was like forced.
That's why I say, like, it's unusual for someone to kind of call out another person and then be kind of accepted into that crew. That means you did it like the right way.
I remember, and you could see the footage, that my way of calling him out was just doing a solo, and at the end of the solo, I did like one freeze with the elbow, and I point at him and do that sign, like.
And he knew.
And he knew. He started coming out, and we started the battle. And afterwards, after the event, we were dancing on the streets, and then we started knowing each other personally, and we really, I don't know, he's one of my best friends since that time. It was great. Great experience. And I think that was my way of letting myself known. Even though the day before there was a warm-up party, and I remember I was going off in a cipher doing my thing. I didn't even know I was good, at that time. I just did my own thing that I was doing every day here in Zaragoza. But people was like, what is he doing? He's doing like really long 90s, freezes that they didn't know, or they hadn't seen. Yeah, moves like this. I used to do a lot of freezes and 90s, especially.
And you probably felt like you kind of gave them something new, Addictos, being from another city and having your own style, and like you probably made them a more well-rounded crew, no?
they would have to talk about it because I don't like to do it like this. But yeah, I think I gave them something different. I also used to dance a little bit more on my top rack, like having a little bit more. Yeah. Back in the days, you would call it style here in Spain. We used to call it. They already had a member from Madrid. He was called Oler. He's called Oler. And I think at that time they switched the name to Addictos. And afterwards, there was a friend of mine from Zaragoza that also came into the crew, and one guy from Valencia afterwards. So it became Addictos, not just Barcelona Addictos.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then, I mean, that's really where things started to kind of take off for you, no? Where it started, now you're part of something that's, bigger than just your city. And like, can you kind of talk about those early years? And then, I mean, you, like, honestly, of all the, like, we've always speak to people that we really respect and have been very active for quite a while, but I mean, fucking hell, like, you've been pretty active for a pretty long time. So, like, there's a lot of years to kind of cover here, because you were put on in Addictos in what, 2000?
Yeah, 2000. The end of 2000, I got into the crew, but it was not until 2001 that I really competed together with them.
But then
I
you guys
remember
were
especially
really active, no? Like I mean, you're still active, but I mean, you guys were really active, like in the
really active. At that time, Addictos was flying everywhere. Every organizer in Europe was inviting Addictos. Also because they had really good results, For example, just before I got into the crew, they just won Total Session 2 in France. I don't know if you know about that event, but it's one of the legendary events in Europe. And it was a crew battle, and they won against everybody in France. Winning in France has always been a very tough
if you're not French
job. If you're not French. But they already did it. And when I got into the crew, I realized how it was. Every weekend we were flying Germany, France, Belgium, like England.
So you noticed when you
everywhere.
got into Addictos that it was obviously like an ambitious crew, that you guys were trying to really leave your mark, and you were like, you probably felt
Totally.
like you exactly where you needed to be, no?
Yeah, for me it was crazy. Imagine my first competition with them. Like I got into the crew officially and stuff, and then like next week they called me and said, "Bro, we're going to Paris, to France, because we have to battle them in a very big battle." It was called French Bboy World Cup, I think, was the name. It was a crazy big event in France. It was my first international event, and we went into the semifinals against the American All Stars. I battled my idols, at that time. Remind, there was a Reveal, Bowan. It was a crazy, crazy crew. And I was really honored to battle them, and that's how it began for me. Like every week battling, and I think 1 or 2 weeks after there was a Total Session, again, Total Session 3, and I battled again against the USA. We were also like in the semifinals or something. We went into a tie break against them. That was crazy at that time, because they really had a lot higher level than we had. But I think Addictos had very good name, and we had very good results in European events for many years. UK Bboy Champs, for example, Addictos got into the final battle against Suicide and Lifestyle. And afterwards, when I got into the crew in 2001, I got into the finals in the one-on-one in UK Bboy Champs. And, of course, we lost a lot, and we didn't every time we got get good results.
Didn't win every battle.
No. There were times we traveled, I don't know, like France, because we used to battle in France a lot. And I remember maybe one time in the first round we got knocked out by, I don't know, X-Men, for example, X-Men. But anyways, we we love traveling, dancing in ciphers, sharing with everybody. We made a lot of friends in Europe, and we got to meet great legends of the scene. And also we got to win some competitions. For example, a big one for me was a little bit later in 2004, Chels Battle Pro. I won the 2-on-2 with Kadoer, the guy I battled for the first time in the cycle. And we won against great crews. And yeah, these kind of things I think established a good name for me and my crew. And it opened the door to be a judge, more later. But at that time, I already had judged some competitions, but I think my career as a judge was established thanks to this kind of things.
Winning those kinds of events and proving yourself in that way.
Yeah, and sharing with everybody, and yeah. Also things like, because I got into a dance company. It was a dance company owned by, directed by a flamenco dancer, a very big flamenco dancer at the time, Rafael Amargo. I was 4 years in the company, and we danced all through the theaters of the world. Like we traveled to Buenos Aires, to Chile, to Italy, and I remember in those tours to Japan, in those tours, I always got to dance with people, with the b-boys and b-girls of the different breaking scenes. And I presented myself and I danced as I always do, like Extremo,
Yeah.
They even made some videos of me dancing on those practices and those times. And I think I made an impression. That's what I think, because they told me, not because
I told you already, man. I went to one of your workshops, and I was definitely like, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to put these things into words, but it's like, for me, you are a b-boy who it's like it's obvious that your personality is in your breaking, if that makes sense. So if you're someone with a cool personality, then it's like cool to watch you break. And even that's even downplaying it a bit, but it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's like anyone can go out and do moves and do really cool moves. But when you feel like you're watching someone and it's like just it's just like an extension of who they are, then so that probably helped you. That sounds like that's something that you've had from like very early on in your breaking, is you never kind of tried to break like anyone else or like followed any trends.
Yeah, I tried to do that, and I understand what you're saying, and you're probably right. I always try to stay true to myself and represent my style, even though some people were criticizing me. But it's always like this when you are, for example, in Spain, we were winning almost every competition for so many years, and people were tired of us and criticizing, even making funny videos about us, and about my style of dancing, because I used to dance more using my arms, or doing more top rock my own way, or doing different moves. But I stayed true to myself. Of course, at the beginning, I had influences, like everybody. Style Elements for me was a great influence, But there were also influences.
Do you mind if I ask you? Sorry, not to interrupt you, but do you mind if I ask you? I mean, which b-boys in particular from Style Elements?
Remind and Cramps probably were the most for me, and later on, later on, Kamel, later on Cloud, for example, b-boys that were really stylish, different, true to themselves, like so authentic, and it gave me the motivation to also be myself. I think everybody in this world starts imitating, and then they evolve and they find their own style. And I think it was also the case with me. Because at first we had the VHS tapes of like 1 or 2 VHS tapes, and we burned them. Like we watched them so many times that we already knew the moves of everybody in the tape, and it was a very good starting point for us to imitate those kind of moves, get a good foundation of everything. Also, Storm Football Fundamentals was one of the VHS that we really studied.
That's still online. I would recommend anyone watching that, young
that's crazy.
For just
that's crazy
for their foundation and all of that. Yeah.
Radiotron, Bboy Summit, Freestyle Sessions, Battle of the Year, Storm and Swift videos were really the starting point for me, and were really influences for me. Those B-boys, and especially those tapes. But then afterwards, you kind of find how you really like to move, and yeah, if you are able to show yourself on the big stage or the battles, even though you may be different or not appreciated everywhere, it's hard. It's the toughest job to do, but then you can leave a mark a little bit, I think.
Do you feel lucky to have come up in the generation that you came up in?
Yeah, totally. I wouldn't change a thing. I would have liked to start earlier, because I really love the feeling of being in something so special. So yeah, when there were not many events, not many information, you had to imagine everything. You live everything with more passion. When you got together with everybody, you got to see incredible new moves that you had never seen.
More magic about it, no?
Yeah, more magic. That's the word, magic. Everything was magical at that time, and I really miss that, because nowadays, you even know the set everybody is gonna make in a battle. They do it play pause, like they practice it. I don't know. It's good on one side to have all this information, all these great events, but I think it's lost a little bit of that magic.
Yeah, which
and
happens
also a little bit.
No, sorry, continue.
And also a little bit of the essence. Like, for example, there are not so many cypher battles because people is keeping their stamina and their moves for the stage, And back in the days, you just, I don't know, if you like or hate anybody, you would battle them. I even remember going to another neighborhood here in Zaragoza with our music and stuff, and defying the other crew or other b-boy on the street, like with your moves.
Right, calling them out.
Calling them out on the street. It didn't matter. That was our way of living it, and I love it. I just remember how it was. It was more magical, more.
Yeah, our ROGs in Belfast would be able to relate to that. The Belfast City Breakers, they got stories like that.
Was it like that?
Yeah, they would say, because they were like an 80s crew, like an early, they. Yeah, I guess like 82, I think they were formed. They were like the guys that kind of brought us up. And so, they would have, it's like, like you said earlier, it wasn't the Bronx, but at the same time, it was kind of Ireland's Bronx where they were living and like there was a lot of crazy shit going on, and there was a lot of, but it's a strange word to say, but there's also like a certain innocence to it. In terms of pulling up on someone on the street, and like you say, with the music, and I guess that's just been lost a little bit, to some extent, because of the online, everything just being online, probably.
Yeah, it may sound even ridiculous a little bit when you think about it or you put it into words, but that's the way we lived it, and it was great. In the 80s, I wasn't dancing, but I did some research, and Zaragoza was a city that we were lucky to have a military base. we weren't lucky just because we have a military base near our town, but there were American soldiers coming to Spain at that time, at early 80s, and they shared hip hop with people here and in Madrid, in Torrejón de Ardoz, in another place, and that's where hip hop started in Spain, Madrid and Zaragoza mostly.
Because of the bases,
of course,
because of the army bases.
Of the bases was one of the factors.
Wow.
Also, Flashdance, Beat the Street,
right?
They got everything huge. But at the beginning, we were lucky to have it near Zaragoza also. So yeah, I met some people that were dancing in early 80s, and it would be great to live at that time, you know.
Oh yeah, we'll have to get you over in Belfast, man, to speak with some of our OGs, because yeah, they got some cool stories, man.
I love those stories,
and they're still active. I was speaking to the guys yesterday, and you know, it was a big, you know what I'm saying, because I live here in Spain, but they were all training yesterday, and there was a couple of the old school guys at the training session yesterday, and still ripping it. I loved it. It made me really made my day, actually, to hear like how much.
Great.
Just one or two of the old school guys were still there doing their thing, doing some like really cool shit, and I just thought, man, that's so cool. All these years later, like, because I actually have it here, funny enough, because I think it might have been an interview you did with Johnny Fox.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I'm lucky to have like kind of received this same kind of, or had the same kind of thing around me. Was kind of no retiring from hip hop when you're really, really in it, when you get really into it to a certain extent. It's like you might never be a competitive b-boy again or whatever it is, but to just walk away from everything, it's kind of like, once you get to a certain depth, it's kind of impossible, no?
No, totally. I think you never stop breaking, really, or being part of the culture when you've lived it so passionately. And I think it's a pity when people from OGs stop dancing completely and getting in touch with the scene, because there's so many experiences and so much to absorb from them, you know. For example, from these experiences, how they really lived it, you know. And I think it shouldn't be lost. We have to do our best to keep the history, you know, alive, and to share it with the new generations, because it's so different nowadays from how it was before, and we cannot lose this, you know. It's a young dance style, and I think we should do our best to keep the history and to share it, I think. So it would be great if every OG would still be dancing or keeping in touch with the scene and being part of the community. I guess it's impossible for many people because they have kids, they have their jobs and life, but yeah, for me it's a great thing, really.
So man, I mean, you know, I don't want to keep you too long, but at the same time, I don't want to downplay all the stuff that you've done. And I mean, you were invited to the first Red Bull BC1, right?
Yeah.
2004.
That was a great experience too. At that time, I used to battle a lot in many competitions. And when they called me for this BC1, I didn't even know what was it. I knew many of the guys that were there, very big names, not only Europeans, but also Americans, a guy from Korea, Japan, and it was great. It was a great experience. BC1 in 2004 is not like BC1 right now. It's changed a lot. It got bigger, and now they do a little things differently. But you could see the project, how was it, and it was a very good start. Not only the lineup, I think, apart from me, I mean, everybody was crazy. First round, I got to battle Omar. He was the winner of the competition. But how everything was organized and how, the mentality that they had when they organized BC1, you could see that they wanted to do better and improve and
To make
do
it
it bigger,
a big thing.
Yeah. I remember that for the DVD of the event, they made us they do some things for the to choose the character like in a video game, and we had to do some moves and stuff. And it's such a pity that they based the B-Boy game, PlayStation and PS3 B-Boy game, in the next year, BC1, because I would have loved to be on the game.
So
I really love that game.
You're not in the game because the game was
I'm not in the game
on the 2005 guys.
Yeah, bro. Such a pity because that game I played a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of B-boys did too. Oh well, fuck it. I mean, it was outside of your control. Like, damn. So they were even thinking about that then.
Yeah, they were thinking big, and yeah, it got big really fast, and it's been great. Red Bull has always, even way earlier than that. Well, you could see Lords of the Floor was a very crazy competition. It was Red Bull, the sponsor, but they supported breaking when nobody did. And that's something that people don't realize, and many people call sellout to people who work with Red Bull. Sometimes we have a lot of hate in Spain. I don't know in other countries, but even with the Olympics and everything that is coming, there's many haters in that way. But I think we need to have a little bit of everything and to have options and different ways of living our culture. And I really support ways of for the future generations to live by breaking only.
Right.
That they don't have to really work in anything else, and they can, dedicate their lives to this art form that is great. And yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just an option, right? Really good. So it's like, if you're not, if it's not a route that you want to take, just don't take it, kind of thing, or don't.
Totally.
Like, but other people should be allowed to take it for sure. Like, God, there's not that many options. Like, so an extra one, regardless of whether you like it or not, it's another, like you say, another way for b-boys to kind of pay their bills. For how long? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's like a long term.
I don't know. How do you feel about the breaking being in the Olympics, for example?
I honestly don't get. To me, it makes no difference. I probably it doesn't particularly interest me. Like, it's not like I'm not going to be like sitting in front of my TV. Oh God, I can't wait to waiting for it to, because I think it's probably not the type of breaking that I'm going to enjoy. Or not the type of format maybe that I'm going to enjoy, or whatever it is. But like you say, another avenue for people to, like, if I was like 13 years old, maybe I would feel different. And I think, oh my God, I have an opportunity to represent my country, or, whatever it is. Like, I think I respect anyone that thinks that it's a good thing. And I don't think that it's a bad thing. It's just not something that I'm that interested in. So I probably won't even watch it. It's like, I'm into other sports. I'm into football and boxing and stuff, and I don't really watch them in the Olympics.
Okay.
I don't think it's like the be all and end all, really.
No, it's one more way to, as you said, another event, another thing.
If b-boys can get paid from it and get something from it, God, that that's great, because like you say, there's not that many. I don't know. They sell the kids the pro b-boy dream sometimes, and it's like, fucking hell. Like,
no, Olympics shouldn't be the dream of a b-boy or b-girl. I think it should be just another thing that they can, work towards too.
Another possibility.
Another possibility. And I think for the next generation, for the new generations, for example, I have a student, he's 11 years old right now, and he will be the perfect age to join Dakar 2026 Youth Olympics, and it's a great motivation for him and for his parents, because we don't really think about the parents of the b-boys and b-girls that are starting right now. Little kids that they don't know how to start in breaking, and sometimes going to a dance school is maybe not the best way. And now there are some clubs, sport clubs that are starting right now, that are really putting the information about the culture and about breaking out there. And because it's a more official thing, you could say, and working also towards the Olympics, I think parents feel more safe to leave their children, and they trust more this kind of
Oddly, it all seems a bit more official and a bit more like
regulated and so safe. But when, for example, there was a TV show here in Spain called Fama.
Right.
I don't know if you watched it.
I don't know it. I actually don't know. But
everybody hated it, from the dance scene, and it made a lot of people studying dancing at that time, mostly in dance schools, but it gave a lot of job for teachers all around Spain in all the dance styles, not only breaking, but And at first we thought it was a bad thing, but it was really a good thing, because when you have many people interested in your dance style, and breaking is a tough style of dance, and also it doesn't have many followers, I think, because it's really hard. From, I don't know, 100 students, maybe only 10 really stay. And from those 10, you can really educate them in the essence of breaking.
That's it.
So it doesn't matter for me how you started. What really matters is what you feel about the culture, the dance, and if you are curious about learning about the real essence of the dance style, it doesn't matter where you start or what your objective or dream is.
Absolutely. And the hate thing, I don't exactly understand, because it's like, I mean, I definitely do not like hate the Olympics thing, but I just don't really care about it, so I'm not going to watch it, probably. So I don't understand sometimes why people can't just not watch something. They have to hate it.
That's the thing.
Because I understand someone not wanting to watch it because it doesn't make them feel good, but I don't understand why then you have to hate it.
You're right, and I totally agree with you. And mostly because they don't force you to go there or to watch it, or but I think probably the reason that I hear the most is that they think this is going to change the dance. But I don't think that's going to be the case. There's so many big events right now, like BC1, for example, and you can see the organizers of the events are the ones that have to take care of how it's going to be, And of course, Olympic is going to be different, but right now the federated circuit, of events is getting better, I think. And also the people that are getting involved, like, for example, yesterday we had the first judging formation for national judges here in Spain, and there were people with a great trajectory, OGs and people also that are really respected on the scene, that were taking part in the formation. And it was great to share with them, these past 2 days. And they even thought differently at the beginning of the course and at the end, when we gave the information about how everything is done and how is it going to be, it's going to be moving forward. And the more people that gets involved, the more, people that are here to work and to give ideas to get better, is going to be better.
I feel like it all just rises the tide, no? Of, I don't know what the phrase is, and it's something like, a rising tide raises all the boats or something like that. But like, the underground competitions and all of that are always going to exist.
Yeah, of course.
And so the more that, it just pushes the level of everything up, even if you're not interested in the really upper levels of it. you don't really have to be, but it's still, you can still see it as a good thing because it means, you know, hopefully more money or more resources for every level of hip hop, at least our you know, the version of hip hop that we're kind of talking about.
Yeah. No. I totally agree with that. And of course, I'm not a big fan of considering breaking a sport because it's not a sport. But even you can see in the official website of the Olympics, when they refer to breaking, they refer to it as a dance style and art form, you know, not as a sport. But it has some elements that are
right,
you know, similar to sport, and it's competitive, and so it's a stage for us to show our culture. And if we can be there to educate and show everybody how our culture is, even though it's not the best stage, you know, because it's a big stage and sometimes it's a bit cold and it's going to be treated differently a little bit, but we can show people how we do. And also the judging system that I'm also in charge of with Jadoer.
Yeah, talk about that.
Well,
yeah.
No, we are not really in charge of the judging system, but we are in the committee, the judging committee, in contact with the federation here in Spain. And the judging system is Trivium. Trivium, I don't know if you really have heard about it. And well, the system that is going to be used in the Olympics, and it's already been used in the, for example, in the World Champs last year in December. I was part of the judging panel, and it was Trivium. This system, created mostly by Storm and Renegade, and many other people that really were consulted.
Right.
It's very how do you say? And there's three categories, big categories. It's mind, body, and soul, and it includes everything. And there's many criteria inside of it, and also the criteria that you can have in your mind. And the system has like 6 faders and 8 buttons, like shortcuts. So it's very complete, but it doesn't force you to judge differently from the way you would do. It's a little bit complicated at first, and you have to study and of course be certified. That's one thing that people and beginners don't like.
Right, getting the official certification.
Yeah. But once you get used to it, it's I think it's a very deep system that lets you judge the way that you want, and for people to have feedback, not only live feedback from what you are judging about, you know, like criteria and everything, but also they can look at it on the website stat-wise, you know. They can watch every battle and how did you put the points.
So there's some transparency in terms of
transparency, accountability for the judges. Right. You can also see stats from the judges and no biases, you know, because you are really, you know, they can really watch how you perform. It's not like you are with the sunglasses sitting here and doing.
Right, you may or may
like
not
this,
even be awake. Yeah.
It's something more professional, and so it has some good points, you know.
Cool.
There's some things that I don't like, and some things that I like.
Right,
but
there's no perfect
it's another way.
Right?
No, the system, of course, nothing is perfect, and to have a system also takes a little bit of your focus on the battle sometimes, but you have to practice with it, so in order to not lose the detail, you know.
Right. Sorry, man. This happens in almost every interview. You just give me like 30 seconds to take a piss. I need one so fucking
Don't worry, Avan.
Sorry, dude.
Don't worry.
Oh my God. Thank you, man. I know that's not the most professional thing in the world.
No,
it happens.
Don't mind.
So, yo, man.
No, it's good. I like to talk with you, bro.
Yeah,
No, I like
man,
to
this has
talk
been.
with you.
I feel like we're probably gonna need you for a part 2, honestly, because I have so much shit here that I haven't even. Like, I don't want to, downplay all the stuff that you've done over, because we've really only gotten to like 2004 or 5, but you're still active, you're still breaking, despite injuries, despite all the stuff that comes with, you know what I mean, like 25 years of being like an active b-boy, or near enough, no?
Yeah, 25, 26 years. Yeah, dancing. So
I mean, so we might get you on for a part 2, man, and I think there's still a lot of your story to be told. So, but
for me, I'm really cool with it. Whenever you want. Yeah.
I mean, it's just really cool as well to speak with someone that's been around for as long as yourself, and you've seen so much change then within the scene, within, you came up in the VHS era.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw the transition
changed since then.
That's why I was telling you that I wish I was also in the 80s era to see all the changes of the culture here in Spain. But from the 90s, I saw everything that's been happening here. And even though right now I'm not competing as much as I used to, I'm 41 years old, and I'm more judging right now, more focused on judging, teaching. But I also practice every day, and I still compete. Apart from Addictos Crew, I have a dance company called Circle of Trust. Where
shout out Circle of Trust. I should have brought that up at the start, man. And
no, don't worry. It's a different.
You got so much shit going on, man. It's hard to bring it all up at the start. You know what I mean? So tell us about Circle of Trust.
But don't worry, you have to leave now, I think.
No, hell no, I don't. No, God, no, I definitely don't. But I mean, I feel like it's something that we should mention because it's like a big, big thing.
It's a big part of my dance life and of my life, really. In 2002, two friends of mine and me, we started Circle of Trust first as a kind of, not a joke, but we really were passionate about dancing. We had the same dreams, and we just started like sharing VHS tapes and talking and living breaking here in Zaragoza the way we wanted. But then we started working also and getting money, getting paid for dancing together. So we got the dance company a little bigger, and we started doing more professional shows, and then we got into theater in 2004. And since then, we've been traveling all around, not only in Spain, but also outside of Spain, and doing theater shows with breaking. Not only breaking, but breaking is our language mostly, and also performing everywhere, in TV shows, in really all kind of formats of showcases, and it's been great for me. My artistic side, I've been able to express it to the fullest with the dance company as a choreographer, director, alongside my friends. And yeah, it's been a great experience that has given me another point of view to enrich my knowledge of the dance, of the artistry, and how the presence, the maturity that has given me is also helped me be more, a better dancer, a better person, Everything adds to the
That's
whole.
another different, avenue, or a different option, or a different, however you want to describe it, that you've been able to use that.
And I've been able to live by breaking.
Right, because of that.
By dancing, because of that mostly. Also because of my judging gigs and teaching and many things. But I wish and I hope that I can still living by only dancing in the future, because it's been a dream to not being forced to work in an
office,
I don't know,
a job,
something that I don't like. And yeah, it's been great. And also there's many things, to talk about because 17 Generation crew.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing I didn't shout out. Yeah, I don't know if you call them
Um,
17 Generation or Generation 17 in English. I'm not sure which.
It's 17 Generation. It's
Okay,
a strange name that
Gracie and Johnny
Gracie
Fox
came up
and
with. Yeah, it was a crazy
he
idea
came up with the
at
name.
first. Yeah, he came up with a name. It's kind of strange, but the thing is, it really motivated me in a time where I needed it. Even though I haven't competed with them like only one time, probably I made a video with them and I'm always in touch with them. For me, it was really good motivation because most of them are very good friends that I've met since many years in the scene, and I respect them as person and also as dancers and artists, and sharing with them everything it's been great. And I got injured very bad at that time when they started this crew idea, and it gave me the motivation to get back, in shape, like thinking someday I can compete alongside with them, even though it may be in Spanish small competition or whatever, but it pushes me to.
Well, and they're not like they're like pretty high level b-boys. I mean, they're super
Yeah,
like Gracie, Johnny
yeah,
Fox, Lil Danny, isn't he in that group too? And
yeah, Chuck,
come on,
Husky Husk,
I mean, come on, you're
your
not going to be
Jorge.
entering a little local jam in anywhere, but like they're like repping internationally. So it's like
Yeah,
you can't
totally. They are great.
undersell that goal that you're setting yourself. You'd be breaking with them on like a big stage.
Yeah, maybe nowadays, well, because of the regulations of the, the everything we've been talking about, the WDSF, maybe it's more difficult because you cannot join very big competitions with a crew that is participating in this circuit.
Right.
If you want to judge, because they could take my license, my certification away.
Right.
But just to be with them, like sharing with them, and also, for example, this week, next weekend I was gonna join with Chuck 2-on-2 here in Spain. I cannot do it finally, but these kind of things motivate me, truly.
Yeah, so you're still
yeah.
it's cool because you're still living it in. You're still like in very. You still are like in very close contact with like the battle scene and all of that, but at the same time you have a something more going on, which is circle of trust and a way to maybe pay the bills that is a bit more reliable.
Yeah, and judging also gives me a lot. Doing workshops or teaching.
There's maybe more future in that, no? Maybe that's something that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm 41 years old, but I still feel that I have the fire and the passion for the competition too, and to keep improving and even inventing new moves and trying new stuff. Of course, it's harder because you have injuries that really hurt, and you don't recover as well as when you are in your 20s. But I still can do it. I still have the energy, the strength, the ideas, the maturity and that's something that I want to share with the new generations by being on the competition too, competing and showing them that it's not only about what you do, but how you do it. Like I was talking in the workshop that you were.
Right.
And I think that's something that they have to see. As you said before, like maybe practicing with the OGs in the same space, or competing alongside or against them. It gives you another point of view and another knowledge and respect, and shows
I think
different
that
things.
The b-boys that where it's not about the move but about how they do it, they usually have the most longevity, because when it's just about the move, well, after 15 years you probably can't do that move.
Totally.
But if you still are the same person, you can still rock it the same way if you still have that You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah,
personality,
yeah,
doesn't matter
totally.
how old you are, you still got that personality. And you can still, if you are good at letting that show, then you're always going to be able to show that. But if your breaking is just your moves, like that's going to be one of the first things to go, probably with injuries and age and stuff.
Yeah, totally, totally. And you can see that many powerhead guys, you know, back in the days, they switch, they evolve to you know, doing more, I don't know, footwork, stylish, other kind of elements. And it's I think a natural evolution, you know, like for example Jan from Almost, or he started doing power moves, and then he's one of the best cypher b-boys of the scene. And you could see like Wicked from Renegades, you know, a power head, and then you can see his style evolve greatly when he started doing other stuff. And I think with age, as you said, it's easier if you can do this transition to not maybe such difficult moves or harder moves, but more stylish.
Expressing
You can really
yourself.
show, expressing yourself. Remind, for example, you see Remind
Yeah.
nowadays, and it's
Ken
still
Swift.
crazy. Ken Swift, yeah, many. It's great.
Ken Swift's
You know,
still super dope. Like doing like 40 years of probably like, you know, like his stuff, like the footage I see of him now is like just as good to me and as the footage that from the early 90s or whenever it is, because it's maybe not as like physically demanding on him, but it's still him.
Totally. And also the way that he moves is so different from how everybody moves nowadays. And so I think it's more difficult to imitate this kind of styles like Camel, flea rack, much harder than learning an air flare, you know, and moves that are really crazy, but they are empty, you know, they don't have soul like that. And we lack a little bit more of this in the big competitions. That's why, for example, I was really happy to see flea rack doing so good in PC1.
We all were.
This last, yeah, we all were. And it was so good to see it like that, you know, breaking represented that way. I think it's the true essence. Like, for example, Camel has been one of my biggest also inspirations, and I was very lucky to battle with him as a crewmate in a competition in France.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
I battled alongside him and Ben from the Knuckleheads. We were together in it was an American All Stars, but they asked me to battle with them, and it was a great experience. I've had so many different crazy experiences that maybe even not many people know. Because
I definitely didn't know that one.
Yeah, it was a very big competition, but it was a TV show, and there's not so many videos. Do you remember a website called Style 2 Style 2 back in the days was a website where you could find, it was a French website, but every b-boy and bigger from the competition scene went there to get information, videos.
Okay.
You could download
I don't know
download them. You could find all the information about the new events that were coming. Like B-Boy World later on.
Right.
At first it was Style 2, and yeah, you could find some videos of this competition, and I think I have some very low quality videos, and you could see, and it was crazy to watch them and to dance with them and to share with them. Like Cramps was there too. I don't know.
Did it feel different battling alongside them? Did it feel like, oh shit, you appreciated it even more?
Totally. I tried to absorb everything I could from the experience. Of course, my level was not like them. You know, I felt I could have done a lot more, and that I didn't deserve to be with them. But I did my thing. They were really cool with me, and I learned a lot from that experience. And it's great that I got to live that experience, really, because I know not everybody can have this opportunity. So I really enjoy when the opportunity comes. I've been blessed also to have been able to do so many things in so many different, you know, like bringing a Spanish all-star team to a big competition, to be R16, Chelsea Battle Pro. The organizers calling me and telling me, bring an all-stars, whoever you think they are the best. And I've been able to help some Spanish b-boys to become recognized internationally too. For example, Gracie has told it many times that it was at first me choosing him for a big competition and giving him the chance to travel. It was the thing that sparked the flame in him and letting him know. And Gracie is a great b-boy that won many international competitions later on, and to be able to help him in maybe a little bit in that way has been great also,
right?
for me.
That's what we're trying to push with all of this, is the community aspect of hip hop and helping and sharing and, you know, pulling someone else up if you can. So it sounds like that's what you've done with him. And Gracie, I've only met him once, and he was just a super cool guy as well. A super dope b.
Wow.
Anyone that watches him break knows that he's a dope b-boy. But there's something really cool about just meeting someone and being like, wow, it's a really cool guy as well.
He's really, really cool guy. He's a very good person. A big heart. Very big heart.
Big heart, no bullshit, no pretentious or no like ego, you know.
And that's the kind of people that I really like to surround myself with.
Exactly.
And people that really genuinely are happy for you when you succeed in something, and as you said, share with you and help you whenever they can. That's what we need more of in
more of that
in the scene. That's it.
I mean, that's the message that we need to push right now, is everyone support each other, because like, well, I think every scene needs it, but our scene definitely needs it, because I mean, without us supporting each other, I don't know how far we're going to get, honestly.
And also, and really enjoying the success of other people. I know it's tough, because when you are in competition mode, you to have jealousy, some sort of bad feelings about people maybe winning a competition or getting money for this, for that, and you don't. But we really have to get the big picture and really be happy that that somebody close to you succeed, and that everything is getting bigger. And you know, for me, I'm living a different kind of thing right now with my student. This student that I have, 11 years old, and I'm doing private lessons with him. And I see in him many things that I had on me my first years, you know, and I really think he could be the future of the Zaragoza breaking scene, and everything that he's achieving. I'm living it like it was me doing it, you know. And that's a different feeling that I never had in my breaking career, and I'm feeling it right now. Like, even if I was a father, or you know, like a mentor, that sort. It's something that really gives me strength to keep going as long as I can, as far as I can. And yeah, well, I'm talking a lot, sorry.
No, definitely don't say sorry. I mean, we talk a lot about mentorship in these interviews and the importance of it. And so, you know what I'm saying? In your situation, it even seems like Zaragoza Electro, like in one way or another, even if you didn't even realize it at the time, they gave you a lot of mentorship in terms of having to pay your dues and not being necessarily, you kind of had to earn your respect and all of that. And I think that's important, and it's just important for young people generally. Actually, even it's bigger than breaking, you know. And some people really need it. That's the other thing, is some people really need mentorship because they don't have it at home. They don't have positive role models, like, at all. And so, like, that's a way where breaking can actually, like, really help people. And it's not even about what necessarily how many camp competitions they win or anything like that after, but God, like helping them in their life and giving them like, you know,
positive mentorship and educating them and sharing your experiences with them and
strong role models,
watching them grow.
It's like the people really from the bottom really need that. You know what I mean?
Really.
I've seen it. I've seen it. So and a lot of us have seen it, and it's like, so then it becomes kind of a deeper thing where then it's even like, and to me that's actually like more hip hop than anything else.
Probably, yeah. Each one teach one.
Yeah,
we have. I really think like you. That way, mentorship is really important. But and I've been lucky to have very good students. I've been teaching since 2001, probably 2001, and I've had many good students that have become great b-boys and b-girls, and also artists that are really live right now live only by not only breaking but dancing, you know, and that's something that I'm really proud of. But the way that I'm feeling it right now with this kid, that I'm I'm connecting to another level, and I think it's it could be something special. But I don't want to get too attached because maybe I can be broken-hearted if he stops dancing, if he gets a girlfriend or gets tired of breaking. But as of right now, I think it could be the future, even not only Zaragoza but Spanish. See,
cool.
if it goes, I hope so.
Big up to him. We won't put his name out there. We'll wait until he blows up, and then we'll take credit for being a platform that picked him up. So man, you know what I'm saying? I've got time, but I feel like we're gonna need you here for a part 2 because you just been around the scene so long. You got so much to talk about. I don't know if we could really fucking sum all of this up in an hour and a half or whatever. So maybe now's a cool time to end it. And with all the stuff you've got going on with Addictos, with Generation 17, with Circle of Trust, all that, just whatever. Because like I told you before this, like the idea is with Fifth Element, we want the young guys coming up in Ireland to watch this. Any message that you would like to leave to them? Any advice you could give to them? Anything you think that could help them?
Yeah, what we've been talking about, I hope they can live breaking to the fullest, you know, to really appreciate everybody that came before you and try to get this curiosity, try to learn more about the history of where you at, your country, your town, everybody that came before you. And I think that's going to give you another level, another weight, you know, for your movements, for your way of dancing. You know, it's going to get more true sense. And also, live everything passionately, enjoy to the fullest, because this is a great culture, and also share. And every time you can help other people. And, you know, for me, to be humble is the most important thing you can have as a dancer, but also as a human being, because you never stop learning from everybody. Doesn't matter who it is.
Forever a student.
That's it. That's what I would say.
Well, my man, thank you so much. That was such a fun conversation, man. Appreciate it loads. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
thank you for counting on me.
Shout out to your crews. And that's it, man. All the best.
Yeah, for you too. Thanks for counting on me.
Word. Thank you, man.